this is Tom Jones with my favorite DJ, Jimmy Deal.
And thank you so much for joining us on Celebrity Spotlight. My special guest tonight, Debbie Campbell. Great to have you with us, Debbie. Tom Payton, my co-host. How are you, Debbie?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. We're doing great. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I know you're very busy all the time. You're traveling a lot.
I need to turn you up. Let me see here.
No problem.
All right.
I know you're always traveling, right? I know you were traveling last night, you were telling me.
I was, yeah. I worked last night. I got home back to Phoenix today around 1 in the afternoon. So.
Oh, wow. So you're a busy lady, I know. And first off, I want to say, I love the book, Glenn Campbell, Life with My Father. What a fantastic book this is. And I know Tom Payton loves it as well. We just got through reading it.
Both of you.
Yeah. And tell us about putting this wonderful book together. I know it was a lot went into it, right, Debbie?
Yeah, but, it was right around the time Dad got Alzheimer's, and it was a bad turning point for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to put my feelings down. It was kind of cathartic for me, I can say. Yes. Getting my feelings out, writing stuff down.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it's mostly about. Yeah.
Yeah, so many great stories and pictures in the book. And of course, your dad was one of 12 children?
Yes. Yep.
Wow, amazing. And he was born in Billstown, Arkansas. And of course, you were born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? You went to school in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yep.
I have to ask you, I know you were small in Roswell, but I have to ask you about the whole UFO thing.
I probably do nothing.
What are your thoughts on that?
I did go to school in Roswell, but I don't, that was the 1st through the 5th grade, I wouldn't.
Yeah, so you were very young at that time, yeah. But I know you lived in the UK, right? And then you reconnected with your dad, right? Tell us in Phoenix, right? Tell us about that.
Well, my stepdad was in the Air Force, so we lived over in England, and I graduated from high school in England.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad did a lot of tours over there. So when he would come over, he would send a car for me to the base to come down and spend the days with him in London.
Right.
Or whatever. I did a tour with him and Anne Murray over there one year. And then my ex-husband got out of the military. Years later, I married, and my ex-husband was Air Force. We were living in Italy. We came back from Italy, moved to Colorado. And then he got out of the military, and I wanted my kids to be around one of their grandparents. And my mom and stepdad were still in Germany because he had since then been stationed in Germany. So Dad was in Phoenix, so we moved to Phoenix, and that's how it all started. By the time I got to Phoenix, Jimmy.
Yeah. By the time you got to Phoenix, that's where it all started. Now, you toured with your dad, like 24, 25 years?
25 years, yeah. I started. He was doing the state fair here in Phoenix in 1987. And I said, Dad, can I sing with you? And he goes, sure. So we worked up a song. And then, of course, I shook the whole time on stage, out of nervousness. But he loved it. And he was kind of in semi-retirement at that point.
Right.
And he was getting ready to look for a new band, go back out on the road. And when he found the band, he's like, honey, I want you to go out on the road with me. Well, at that time, that same year, I had just started flying with America West Airlines.
Right.
So now I have 2 jobs, 3 kids. Yeah, there was a lot of juggling going on, Jimmy and Tom.
Yeah, you know what? And you were so much more than a backup singer. I mean, you also, when your dad took a little bit of a break, you did the lead vocals, right? And you also did a lot of.
I never was a backup singer. I never was on stage with Dad at the same time.
Wow! So you did your own stuff all the time. Right. Amazing! Wow.
He would call me. It was kind of like his bathroom break.
Wow.
He would call me out, and then I would do a few songs. And then he would come back and we would do a few songs and then I would leave. Yeah.
What about the duets? You did some duets with him, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let It Be Me, Little Green Apples, You Are, Wood Carver. Gosh, so many. Yeah.
Yeah. And you also did some of his personal stuff as well, right? You made sure he had his meals and you made sure everything was right with his clothing and everything like that.
I took care of him, Jimmy. Made sure he got up on time to eat before we went to the show. Made sure he signed all the CDs before I went out and sold them at halftime.
Oh, wow. So you did that too as well. Wow.
Yeah, he at one time wanted to get a stamp. He wanted to get a stamp. I go, Dad, the day that you get a stamp is the day I don't sell your CDs anymore.
He was so personable, your dad, and so gracious. I met him down in Atlantic City. I went to a show. I don't recall the casino
What
that it
year
was.
was it?
It had to be early 2000s, I'm sure.
Well, then I was with him, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure you were with him.
Yeah.
And I went backstage briefly. You know, I got to meet him and stuff, and he was so nice, so gracious. We took a picture together, and we talked a little bit about. I know he was very religious, so we were talking. He was telling me, so of course he was a born again Christian, and we were talking a little bit about religion and stuff. So it was so much fun seeing and talking with him and getting to meet him. I mean, he's such a legend, you know. And then I saw him again in Vegas. I saw him. He opened up for Keith Urban, but Keith Urban came out.
That was in Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, Keith Urban then came out and said, you know, he goes, I don't know what's going on here, but he goes, but I should be opening up for him.
And then they did Wichita.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, because I was at that show too, Jimmy. Yeah, and I have the poster here at the house from that event.
Yeah, that was a great show. That was in Las Vegas. Yeah, I really enjoyed that show a lot. And I was like, I couldn't believe he was opening up for Keith Urban. And when Keith Urban came out, he goes, this is my good friend. He goes, I should be opening up for him, which was awesome.
Remember Charles worked in Dad's office in Nashville. And Dad and I were doing a private show at the Opryland Hotel in Nashville.
Right.
And Charles brought Keith to that show. I'll never forget. And Keith had not been long in the States at that point.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
his head was shaved and he came backstage and met Dad and everything. Yeah. So that's kind of ironic how the tables turned eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tom Payton, I know you have a question for Debbie Campbell.
Yes, I do. Debbie, thank you for being with us tonight. And thank you for your frankness and candidness in this book. It really was very moving. And I think one of the things that struck me about your relationship with your dad was the fact that you had to really be the force to kind of, you know, pull together that relationship. Normally a relationship with a father and a firstborn daughter is, you know, pretty strong and pretty tight. But you had to be the primary force to pull this together. I want people to buy the book. So can you share maybe a couple of tidbits of how you had to do that?
The way that you said that, Tom, it's because, you know, I was 4 years old when my mom and dad split.
Right.
And then he got remarried and then they moved to LA and I'm living with my mom. So the only time I would ever see Dad was in the summer. My mom would send me to LA and I would spend time. But I was really with Billy and the kids because Dad was always on tour.
Right.
You know, Billy was more of like a second mom to me. I mean, she was very instrumental in my bringing up back in those days. I loved her so much. I mean, I was devastated when she passed away. But yeah, it's so funny that you say that because I remember at the Phoenix Open, I was on a golf cart with Amy Grant. And her and Vince were just starting to date. And she asked me, how do you meld families like that?
Yeah.
You know, because she had kids, he had kids. And same with, you know, it's just, you just have to go with the flow and let it all happen naturally, I think. Yeah. But Dad and I definitely our relationship grew more and more and more as we were together on the road.
Tell us about all the people that you shared the stage with. I mean, so many different great artists, right? Like the Judge, John Denver, so many different people. What are some of your favorite memories of that?
Gosh, let's see. I shared the stage with Charlie Daniels.
Wow.
Mel Tillis, Roy Clark. Gosh, who else have I been on stage with? Oh my goodness. I've sat backstage with John Wayne. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And also, I loved reading in the book that you at a birthday party, Lorne Green was there and Michael Landon.
Oh, I know. Oh, my God.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, and that's right when I had moved to LA. So I was like a little Air Force girl on an Air Force base coming into this big, huge Hollywood world. And Billy had just built that big house on the hill. And Lorne Green, Michael Landon, and I was scared enough in that house. I had to have somebody show me where my bedroom was every night because it was so big.
Oh, wow.
It was really big, yeah. Somebody could have lived in that house for a year and you wouldn't have known it.
Your dad worked on True Grit, of course, and that's how you became friends with John Wayne, right?
Yep, yeah. No, I met John Wayne before. Well, yeah, he was doing a TV show with Dad. But years later, Jimmy, I actually went and sang at the True Grit Festival in Ridgeway, Colorado, and I got to walk along the same paths that Dad did when he filmed the show. That was so cool.
Wow. And
Even in the snake pit.
your dad had a love for music from a very early age, right? I mean, he started playing guitar, right? With it, I think his uncle Boo taught him how to play guitar.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also he was in his Uncle Dick's band, and I think he also had a radio show, which was a great opportunity for your dad as well, right? That's how he really started.
Aunt Judy, my dad's aunt, that was my grandpa's sister. She married Dick Bills, and Dick Bills was from Albuquerque, and so I think Dad was like 15 or 16 when he left home and went to Albuquerque, and was performing in Dick Bills' band there. The Western Wranglers, and at the Chesterfield Club, and there was another club. I can't remember it right offhand, but that's where he met my mom, and blah, 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 all that.
But your mom was really a homemaker, right? So she really didn't want to be in show business, right?
Yeah, she would have not been cut out for that life. No, not at all.
Yeah, he liked to travel, and he wanted to play his music, and
yeah.
So awesome.
Maybe you could grow into that kind of stuff, I guess, but I just don't think it would have worked.
It would have worked, yeah. And I want to talk about your dad being a beach boy. How did that happen?
Oh, I know. Isn't that amazing? Well, I guess Brian Wilson took some time off during that time.
Right.
And so Dad filled in and played bass and sang the high parts.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, he just wasn't cut out for that. But he did it for like 9 months. He loved it. But he did play on a lot of their music. I mean, he played on so many. I mean, I can't even believe he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's just absolutely.
Yeah, that has to happen for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! It's like, what are you? Are you crazy? Are you waiting till everybody in the world is in there and then finally put like Campbell in there?
Yeah. We have to get your dad into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for sure. Absolutely. And I know you guys worked in Branson for a while, right? I mean, you have special memories there, right? Tell us about working in Branson.
The best, Jimmy, the best. In fact, I lived there for like 5 years, and I'm glad you brought that up. July 13th has now been proclaimed Glen Campbell Day in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
So on July 13th this year, we are having a big concert, and it's going to be at the Hughes Brothers Theater, which is the old Roy Clark Theater, and that's where Dad and I first started playing in the late 80s. I told them, I said, let's try and get that theater because that's where it all started for us. And so we're having a big concert, and it's going to be all songs of Dad sung by so many different people.
That's so awesome. So many great stars had theaters there, of course. Mickey Gilley, right? I think Tony Orlando, Wayne Newton, even.
Yeah.
So many people.
Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Ray Stevens, Willie Nelson. Oh my gosh, the 80s and 90s, Andy Williams. The 80s and 90s, that was the place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was only down there once, and it was a great time. I went to see actually Mickey Gilley at the Mickey Gilley Theater, and I went backstage. I got to meet Mickey, which was so awesome. And of course, it was the Andy Williams Theater, and they have that wonderful strip, but it gets pretty crazy there at showtime. Yeah. It's like Manhattan, in the middle of Manhattan, when the shows are getting out, or when the shows are going to start. It's crazy.
Right. And I used to work for Mickey. Right next door from his theater, he had his Mickey Gilley. What was it called? It was
it was like a restaurant, right? Yeah, I remember that.
I used to make so much money, Jimmy, on tips. I don't know if they felt bad that I was Glen Campbell's daughter working at a restaurant, or I was the best waitress they'd ever had.
That's amazing. Yeah, Branson is such a beautiful place, and it's a great place for stars really to really have shows and have their own theaters and stuff like that.
I'd still live there if I could.
I mean, you lived there for like 5 years, right? You lived there for a while, right?
Yeah, I lived there. My kids loved it there. The bus would drop them off at the theater from school. Right. We'd all have dinner together. Then they'd go home and go to bed. And Dad and I would do the night show.
Exactly. Yeah, and of course, we were talking before. You worked for America West Airlines for many years, right? And now merged with other airlines. And I used to take that all the time, going to Las Vegas and Lake Tahoe. One of my favorite airlines. So I'm saying, at one point or another, I must have been on one of your planes. I'm sure.
Yes. I can't believe I'm still out there doing it, but I still love it.
That's great.
Yeah, and I'm based in Philadelphia, so I actually fly from Phoenix to Philly to go to work.
Oh,
wow. Because I do all Europe, because I want to do all Europe. Yeah.
Did you ever fly out of Kennedy or back and forth to Kennedy when you were
I
working with?
haven't flown out of Kennedy. I mean, I've been to Kennedy.
Oh
and
yeah,
flown
I'm sure.
out,
Yeah,
not working.
right,
But
right.
I almost transferred to JFK because they have a lot of neat flights like India. You know, I would love to go to India,
Mm.
but it's a hard commute for me from Phoenix because we don't have a lot of flights. Where we have a lot of flights to Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that was the hub for America West was Phoenix, right? I believe.
Right, Phoenix was
that?
our only hub. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hub for them. Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. Also, your dad was so good with the fans, right? I mean, he loved
Yeah.
the fans. He would always take
Yeah.
time to say hello, right, and chat with them. Tell us about that.
Oh gosh, Jimmy, he loved his fans so much, and especially because some of them would come and they'd be there for a whole week, and they would buy tickets front row for a whole week, and if they missed one show and he knew that they were supposed to be there, he'd like go find out what happened to Lenny and Barb, or go find out what happened to so and so. And in fact, unfortunately, which is very sad, Lenny and Barb have since passed away in these past couple of years, and her husband just recently came through Phoenix because his brother lives here.
Oh wow.
He brought me everything that they'd ever collected of Dad's. And so I've been going through hundreds of thousands of pictures. In fact, I've got to go. I'll show you right. Where's it at? Right here. I have 31 Super 8 millimeter videos
Oh
of
wow.
golf tournaments.
Wow.
Of golf tournaments. And they've got like 1970 Dinah Shore golf tournament. I mean, so much stuff on here. So my project this week is to take it to, I think, iMemories. Have you heard of iMemories?
I have not.
I guess if you don't, I happen to live in Phoenix where that's the only establishment they have is in Arizona. But
Right.
if you order from them online, you put all of this stuff in a box that fits in the box and you send it to them. And it's one certain price, and then they send it back however you wanted it, digitized or on a flash drive or whatever. But thank God they're here in Scottsdale, so I can take these over and have them look at it to see if they're even worth spending the money for 31 tapes.
Right, right.
You know, but gosh, I got to tell you, Jimmy, when I was going through some of the pictures that they had from golf tournaments, because I mean, they followed Dad forever. I grew up in the teen club in Vegas with Lenny because her mom would go see Dad and put Lenny in the teen club, and so we just became friends and we're the same age. But the golf pictures I ran into, O.J. Simpson and Dad, Huey Lewis and Dad.
Wow.
I mean, amazing, beautiful memories. So I can imagine what's on these 8 millimeter tapes.
Yeah, some of my favorite pictures of your dad is with Elvis. And
Oh yeah.
I used to know George Klein. You know, I did some work on his show. He was Elvis's best friend. He was a disc jockey out of Memphis, and your dad went to his wedding. And at
right.
And at that wedding, they have some really cool pictures of your dad hanging out with
Mm-hmm.
Elvis and George Klein and his new wife, and really cool stuff. And Elvis was a lot like your dad in the fact that he used to take time for fans.
They were very similar. I think they were very similar in the country boy aspect, where you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy.
That's
they
right.
Very, and I think they were very similar. Exactly.
Yeah, and they were good friends. I mean, your dad did demos for Elvis as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, it was
absolutely.
amazing, and he sang on some of the songs, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Really good friends. So awesome. I mean, your dad worked with so many great artists, and of course, he was a legend himself, which
He was.
you know, which is
He
amazing.
was an amazing human being, and I'm
He
so
was
glad
absolutely
that
100%.
I got to know him like I did, Jimmy. You know.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. You know, one of the things, Deb, that struck me about reading your book was your father was this international singing star. He was probably one of the 5 best guitarists in the world. He had a #1 TV show, and yet he enjoyed wandering through Walmarts. I can picture him,
Exactly.
pushing the cart, looking at the frozen
TV.
food and stuff. And I mean, it's so great. It really is. But he was just—he
He was like a big kid in a candy with a candy jar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you said you had to kind of create things when you weren't on stage for him to do to kind of keep him busy. Besides golf, obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
the #1 thing. But there was so
Golf,
many other
golf. I finally fell in love with golf because of Dad. 'Cause I never really But I wanted to be with him, and he wanted to be with me. So I
Sure.
learned how to play. Yeah.
That's right.
I go, Dad, why do you want me to play? You don't like to play with people that can't play very well. He goes, well, that's different. You're my daughter. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And also tell us about United We Stand, the album that you recorded with your dad. Of course, there's 4 duets on there, right?
Oh yeah, we did that. I think we did that in Dad's Theater. Jeff Dayton produced that one, if I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeff Dayton produced that. Yeah, that was Dad's guitar player at the time. In fact, that Jeff Dayton was the Jeff Dayton band that Dad hired when he first went back out on the road when I started singing with him.
Right.
But, yeah, that was Anne Murray. Love Anne Murray. You know.
Yeah.
And of course, she did all those duets with Dad. And I just wanted to do something that I had something to offer in the theater, you know, because you had that you sell CDs and everything, and I really didn't have anything for me. So we did that so that I'd have something to offer.
Oh, that's so cool. You know, of course, that was Branson, of course. And you have such a beautiful, beautiful voice.
Oh,
did you have any formal training or
I
did that come
didn't.
out? You didn't?
No, I didn't. No.
Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I guess you must have got some tips from your dad, though, I'm sure.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots.
Lots of tips.
Even when you didn't ask for it.
Amazing. Was he fun to work with? Was he easy to work with on stage?
So easy. Yeah.
Was he?
He was. He was.
Wow.
He'd let me sing anything I wanted to sing.
Wow.
It was hard, you know, because I wasn't really. Now it's easy for me when I go out and sing because I'm doing all of Dad's stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that's easy because I'm doing a tribute to him.
Right.
But to try and figure out songs to sing in his show just to showcase me, you know, I don't know. It got a little monotonous sometimes, I think.
Yep. And the first song you did with him was Burning Bridges, right?
Yep. And that meant something because that was that was off one of his first albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
So awesome. And tell us about the last album you did, the tribute that you did to your dad, with your dad, for your dad, actually.
Right.
The great CD, a beautiful song on there. Of course, I love it. It's called It Looks Like Rain. Tell us about that. It wasn't written about your dad, but it fit right in, right? Tell us about it.
Tony Mantor, my producer that produced the album, he pitched it to me. And the minute I heard the first line, I knew I got to do this because every time I'd walk in, Dad'd be sitting in his chair in the home and staring out the window, you know, what a devastating disease Alzheimer's is.
Yeah. And you do so much work for that cause.
I do. I still go out and do shows, and we tried to book one July 4th, but it's just not working for me. So I told him, because I've got so much going on with grandkids this summer, but I told him August or September, they want to do a big show up like in Bellingham, Washington. I think it's up by the Canadian border.
Wow.
Yeah. He does. We've done shows for him down here, and he has a house up there in Washington State, and he wants to do one up there too. So I said, of course. I'll do
Nice. And the name of that album is called The Way We Were, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So many great songs on the album. By the time I get to Phoenix, of course, The Way We Were, and of course, It Looks Like Rain, it's so hard to listen to that song without getting a little bit of emotional, really.
Oh, thank you. And you know, that went to #1 in Europe, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Went to #1. Yeah.
It really is, you know, for anybody who is going through dealing with anyone with dementia or Alzheimer's, it really hits home for sure.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. I'll go anywhere. Anybody that calls and says, "Can you come and sing for Alzheimer's?" I'm there. You know.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Tony Mantor, I'm sure he was so much fun and great to work with.
Oh yeah, Tony's really busy. He's really busy these days. I mean, he's got his podcast for autism. And then he's doing another podcast interviewing artists, I guess, from Nashville and different walks of life, kind of like what I did during COVID.
Right.
I don't know. Did you ever see any of my shows during COVID?
I don't know if I did. I might have. I know I did. I saw some on YouTube. I was watching some shows on YouTube. So
Debbie Campbell, Good Time Show.
Cool. Yeah, tell us about that.
A lot of people.
You interviewed a lot of celebrities too. I know.
Very nervously.
Yeah, Bobby Wilson, who's a friend of mine, and he's been on
I love Bobby.
twice.
Well, Bobby's on my album.
Yes. Oh, is he really? He's a great performer.
He's on the second song. What is it? That Dad and Tanya did. It's on my CD.
Oh, wow.
God, what's it called? I'm having a blank. I'm having a blank. Do you have the CD there?
I don't have the CD. No. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
maybe. Yeah, but Bobby's on there. That's me.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bobby's such a great. He was here in Long Island, actually Staten Island, a couple of weeks ago. We saw him on stage, and of course, he came on my show to promote that show. And he's been on my show twice already. He's a great guy, and I used to go see him in Legends in Vegas years ago. He did Stevie Wonder.
That's how I met Bobby, because my best friend Marianne was running Legends at the time.
Oh, really? Wow.
I met Bobby through her. Yeah.
One of my favorite shows. I must have seen that show maybe like 50 times. I mean, I because I'm a big Elvis fan too. So
I probably slept through it a lot. I slept through it a lot more than anything, because I was overnight in Vegas.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's go to the Legend show, and I'd been flying all day, so I'd be sitting in the show, watching, and then trying.
Right. I remember when it debuted there. I think it was the Imperial Palace. I ran it for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was such a great hotel.
And Jon Stewart, nice guy.
Yes. So Jon Stewart, great guy. I promoted that show. It was on Broadway for a little bit in New York, and
really?
I promoted it for Jon Stewart back in the day. I used to work for Big Station here.
Legend?
Yep.
Oh wow.
And it ran on Broadway, not for a long time, maybe a couple of weeks, but I had promoted it for him. So I became friends with John after that. So he would always give me free tickets to the shows in Vegas and stuff,
right?
Which was awesome. I was on a big station here called WPLJ, which is really big here in New York. And so I had promoted that the Broadway stint for him when they were here in New York City, which was pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I love Legends. I was always
he just
great.
lost his wife not too long ago.
Did he really? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. Wow. Tom, what else do you have for Debbie Campbell?
Hey, Deb, do you have a favorite song of your father's that you really enjoy? I mean, there's probably several of them, but one particular one that you enjoy performing?
I love Only One Life. It's like one of my favorite, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I have a video in the back, and it's all Dad's pictures and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I really enjoy doing that.
That's great.
And,
Is that a favorite song to perform on stage as well when you're performing?
It's very tear-jerking, I think, for people. But I love performing Wichita, Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Today Is Mine is a great song. Today Is Mine was written by Jerry Reed, and Dad performed that at the opening of Disney World in the early 70s, I believe. And I just love that song. It's just such an uplifting song.
Sure.
Absolutely. And
Dad's
also,
had so many. Gosh, how can you pick?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Your dad influenced so many performers and so many stars. And there's a famous story about Alan Jackson's wife, Denise, meeting your dad on an airplane. Yeah. Right. And that sort of started Alan Jackson's career as a superstar. He's not a superstar in music, but
he'll probably get in the Hall of Fame before Dad.
Yeah, so I mean, he influenced so many people, and of course his television shows were so great. I remember watching them back in the day, and he always had so many great stars on, and he performed with everybody. And your dad could sing with anybody that was on there, which was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did a great job. No matter who it was, he was able to sing with them, and they always sounded great together, which was awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Him and Andy Williams. Gosh, I loved watching them together.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Williams. Yeah.
Amazing. They always tried to outdo each other. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Who could hold out the note the longest?
Sure.
Exactly. So, any plans to come to New York or New Jersey, this side of the world?
I would love to. Oh my gosh, book it. We will come.
Yeah, we would love to have you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many great venues here. I'm sure we could work something out. Love to have Debbie Campbell here in town.
I would love it. Definitely.
Yeah. So tell everybody how they can get your book and the CDs.
Gosh, I don't even know if they can get it anymore, Jimmy.
The book I know is available on Amazon because I recently bought it there, and I think Tom did as well.
Yeah, I got it through Barnes and Noble.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
okay, so we got Barnes and Noble and we got Amazon. Any place else that you know of, or no? Not really.
That's it. And then Tony, they can get my CD at Tony or plateaumusic.com. Tony, Plateau, PLATEAU music.com.
Oh, great.
What's the best advice your dad ever gave you that you still use today?
Stay true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Stay true to yourself.
Awesome. That's good
Just
advice.
keep going and don't lie. Just keep going.
Tell us something about Glenn Campbell that most people don't know. I mentioned a lot of cool things in between that. He was great with his fans, but I'm sure there's a lot more that you know because you were with him all the time.
He loved jokes, loved to tell jokes.
He did.
He'd give you the shirt off his back, which he literally has done that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I did a show with Colin Ray. I think it was in Ohio, and there was the Ohio Five, the five fans. So we called them the Ohio Five.
Uh-huh.
And so when I went and did that show with Colin Ray, because him and I sang "Let It Be Me," I stayed with Seth and his family. And Seth, I grown up with them, you know, their kids, everything, because they'd always bring the kids to the shows. And he goes, "You want to wear one of your dad's shirts tonight?" I go, "How do you have one of my dad's shirts?" He goes, "Oh, he sent me a box in the mail. He asked my shoe size one day. He sent me boots, some of his shirts."
Wow.
So he literally would give you the clothes off his back.
Wow. And I know we have Tom who's listening in Las Vegas with a friend of mine, Michael, which we call Ziggy, and he wants you to know that his dad, Tom, saw Glenn Campbell in Las Vegas, and he did great versions of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. So
Wow.
it's pretty awesome. Well, that must have been great. I know your dad performed a lot in Las Vegas.
Is Tom in Vegas?
Yes, Tom. This Tom is in Tom. Where are you exactly? Is it Albany?
Yeah, I'm just outside of Albany, New York.
Oh,
yeah.
But somebody else, Tom, is in
Yeah,
Vegas.
There's another Tom
Oh,
listening in Las Vegas right now, and
cool.
he actually saw your dad in
great.
in Las Vegas, which is pretty cool. So so many people watching right now. Also, Carl out in Long Island, who's a big fan of yours, says hello. Carl Limbo, he's a big fan of your dad. He wants to say hello to you. And Cindy in Lake Ronkonkoma, and Amory Wistow. So many people out there watching. They want to say hello to you, Debbie. They're big fans of yours.
Well, all of you on Long Island, head over to Port Washington.
Yes, tell us about that again, because you were telling me off the air.
He's got a great place. It's called Serra, Serra Provisions, and it's in Port Washington. And he makes the best pizza. Oh my gosh! And they have great sandwiches. He makes the bread daily himself. And yeah, you go over there and check out my son Jesse Olson and his wife Brittany.
Oh, cool! Right. So it's Sierra.
Serra, Serra. It means greenhouse in Italian.
Oh, awesome! So we're gonna have to go get some pizza there and some good food.
Yeah, you'll love it. Oh my gosh,
that would be great. Yeah. So awesome. So anything else you would like to tell us about that you have coming up, or anything you're working on? We just have the Branson thing coming up July 13th. That's all I've got right now. Yeah.
Babysitting grandkids in the summer. I'm taking my first cruise in August. I've never been
really?
On a cruise.
Nice.
Going to Alaska.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah. So I got very busy this summer, and plus I'm flying my schedule. You know, I'm going to France. I'm going to Switzerland. I'm going to Portugal, all these boring places, right?
Well, I know you like to fly international because you get to see all those great places, right?
Yes, and I love to shop in all those great places too, Jimmy.
Now, I read, did you live in Italy for a while?
I did. My ex-husband was in the Air Force.
Right.
So we lived in Aviano, which is northern Italy. In fact, my son Jesse in Port Washington was born in Italy.
Oh, you're kidding. Wow.
And it's so funny that now he cooks all Italian food, you know.
That's great. That's awesome.
So, I just plan on working my schedule, babysitting grandkids in the summer and taking trips when I can.
Great.
That's nice. Yeah. So you're busy flying all over the world, which is so awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I still love it.
Tom Payton, any final thoughts for Debbie Campbell?
Well, no, I just want to thank you, Debbie. This was so great having you with us.
Oh, I love it. No,
and again, this book is fantastic, and I'm glad it was cathartic for you. It allowed you to kind of
thank you so much.
Get you on the right path where you wanted to go.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm at peace.
Good. I'm
at
glad.
Peace. Yeah.
Well, Debbie, I know you performed with a lot of people. Of course, you with your dad. So many people on stage. Anybody you would like to perform with that you have not as of yet?
Gosh, that's a great question. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do another show, and I'll come back with that answer, Jimmy. That you got me off guard. I don't know who to sing with.
Any new artists that you listen to, like on the radio or anything like that? And who do you like listen to when you're on your downtime? I know you listen to your dad a lot, of course.
You know who I think is a great singer that I never realized is Thomas Rhett.
Thomas Rhett. Oh, wow.
He sang with Teddy Swims.
Oh, okay.
And when they sang together, I'm like, wow. I guess Teddy brings out the different side of him, But I thought, man, that guy is going somewhere. But
do you like country music? You're a big country music fan?
I do like, I love Neil McCoy. Every time Neil McCoy is around, he'll bring me up on stage. Him and I did Phoenix one time together in Vegas on Fremont Street. And then another time he called me up and I did Wichita Lineman. And we're working on a project with James Burton.
Oh, really?
In Vegas, but it was supposed to take place earlier in the year, but James had an accident, so now it's pushed back, and I'm not sure if it's coming in June, July, I don't know what month, but so we're all to raise money, and they do a big tribute to Dad. He raises guitars for youth.
Did James ever play with your dad? I'm sure he must have at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
Of course, James Burton, of course, was Elvis's guitarist, and he played with John Denver and many people, and of course Glenn Campbell, which is so awesome.
We have that coming up later in the year, but gosh, I'm gonna have to think about who I'd really want to sing with.
I'll tell you, I wish I was in town in Branson coming up on the 13th, of course. That's going to be an awesome show.
It is going to be fun, but we're going to do it every year.
Oh, are you? Oh, so I'm
great.
plans for next summer. I'm coming out to see you guys.
Coming down. My dad's sister's from Arkansas, and so it's
great.
Gonna be fun. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. So one day
All
we'll check that out. So anyway, Debbie, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun, and I hope everybody goes out and thinks of your CDs.
And let's do it again.
Absolutely. You're always welcome to come back here on Celebrity Spotlight, of course. Always great having you, and you're always welcome here, of course.
All right. And everybody, Branson, Missouri, July 13th.
July 13th. If you can make it out to Branson, it's going to be a great time. Please make plans to go out there. Of course, again, go on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and get Glenn Campbell, Life of My Father, Debbie Campbell, and Mark Bego. Is that his name?
Mark Bego, yeah.
Yep. And it's a great book. So many great pictures in here. I love the picture of your dad with George Jones, of course. So many great pictures in here.
We had fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the CDs, which are unbelievable. The tribute CD, The Way We Were, beautiful songs on there. Please pick that up if you can. And great music, Debbie. So keep up the great work and keep up the great music.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks, Deb.
Take care, Debbie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks for joining me. You're always welcome here. Take care. Bye-bye. I appreciate it so much. Bye-bye. All right, Tom Payton, Debbie Campbell right there. How cool was that?
Great, Jimmy. Wasn't that great?
Oh, really? She's awesome. She is awesome. Absolutely.
And the book is fantastic, and I certainly encourage everybody, if you get a chance, to get that book and read it. It really,
Glenn Campbell, Life with My Father. So many great personal stories in here. You find out so much about Glenn Campbell, and of course, he went through so much stuff with substance abuse, and he overcame everything. He became a born again Christian,
right?
And of course, he did so well, which is so awesome. Also, I want to do some quick celebrity birthdays tonight, Tom. Of course, freestyle artist Cynthia is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Cynthia. Also, Randy Travis, of course, country superstar, and my buddy Eric Church. Also, I met him back in the day before when he was just starting out at the Grand Ole Opry. So, Eric, happy birthday! And also, our thoughts and prayers are with all the Cardinals in Rome. They're picking a new pope this week, so I know they're going to pick
that starts on Wednesday. Yeah,
yeah. So good luck to whoever becomes pope. I know they're going to do a fantastic job. Anyway, Tom Payton, anything new going on with you?
No, nothing special, Jimmy. All's going well. Who do we have on tonight? Let's say some thank yous to some of the people.
Yeah, some of the people, of course, Ziggy out there in Las Vegas. Also, his father Tom is listening out there, and I believe his sister Brenda's out there too. They were all listening in Las Vegas. We had Carl Limbo out there in Long Island. Let's see who else. Producer Cindy sent me some names here. Producer Cindy out there in she's in Lake Ronkonkoma. Wes Winters is watching. Wow, my buddy Wes Winters, he's a singer in Las Vegas. He used to work at the Liberace Museum. He is absolutely amazing. So, hey, Wes Winters, I hope everything is going well. I hope to see you in Las Vegas sometime soon. I miss you guys. So many people out there, Tom. Brad Siegel, Team Siegel, of course, in Canarsie, Brooklyn. He's always out there.
And then mom's listening, right? Your mom's listening.
Mom's listening. Canarsie, Brooklyn, always. Thank you, Mom. So many people that listen every week. Beryl Bellis, of course. We can't forget Beryl. She's up there in the mountains of Virginia, listens to the show all the time. My buddy Tommy out there in Gravesend, Brooklyn. So many people, Tom, that listen to the show every week. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, man. And we will catch you again in a few weeks. We'll keep you up to date on Facebook on who is next up on Celebrity Spotlight. We have a few shows coming up. I'll keep you posted on Facebook. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Debbie Campbell. She's always welcome on the show. She's fantastic. Please pick up, again, that book, Glenn Campbell, Life with My Father. It's a fantastic book. It really is. So if you can see it right there, it's great. So go on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and you can pick that up. That's great. There's some great stories in there about the life of Glenn Campbell. And everybody, thank you so much again, and we will catch you again in a couple of weeks. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week, a great weekend.
Good night,
and
everybody. Thank you.
Tom Payton, thank you so much. I appreciate it, buddy. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.